Gamer7, and welcome back to some more Sims for speed building, where we currently are still working on the D&D mansion, the mansion that I will put all of my D&D characters that I turned into Sims into once both series are finished, and that will be a little tiny mini-series where we'll see what chaos ensues when I put them all in here and make it seem like a reality TV show. There's gonna be like 30-some Sims in this house, obviously using MCC here to allow me to have 30-some Sims in this household. But yeah, there's gonna be 30-some Sims in the household with different personalities, different dislikes and likes. Obviously, right now, the likes and dislikes don't really affect the Sims too greatly, other than making them tense when they do said thing, but they still do said thing, which makes no sense. If you don't like dancing, don't dance! Anyway, that's another point. But I do also have mods in my game, which also can, that does give them a little bit more personality and stuff like that, and tells me a little bit more of things that are going on, who finds who attractive, is the chemistry good, a few random things can happen here and there. It gives them a little bit more personality behind the scenes that affects them, and things like that. So, I am looking forward to the little mini-series. I hope you are as well. Definitely keep an eye out for when that happens, and also any of the creative Sims that are coming out currently of the Sims who will be living in this house. If you ever want to go check that out, there is a link down in the description below for the D&D cast playlist, as well as the playlist for this build. So if you're ever getting behind or know that you've missed a few episodes, you can click that playlist and see what you have missed. Now, as of right now, we are in Myron's room. So Myron is my ball of energy character who is a knight. So, you know, fitness is a thing that is important to him. He's a little bit all over the place, so, you know, some of these patterns are going on a little bit crazy, but, you know, that's just how he is. He's energetic, he wants a lot of things, and he wants to do a lot of things, and he's gotta have things to do. So his room mostly gets decorated with a lot of fitness items, for the most part. A lot of them are not usable fitness items, except for, like, one or two of them. A lot of them are just, like, fitness or sports items that are meant for decoration, but, you know, it gets the point across that he is a very, very active person. So, that is sort of partially the theme for his room. For most of it, I do have a lot of golds and yellows and lighting and stuff like that. The yellow, a lot of times to me, is a very energetic, happy color. Also, technically, he is one of the D&D characters I loosely based off of the evolutions. When I was still trying to learn a little bit more about D&D, I thought maybe using characters to base them off of would start helping me get used to it, and now most of my characters are not based off of any characters, or they're based off of multiple characters combined, but for the most part, they're just me making up characters at that point. So, but yeah, at this time, I thought it was a good way to start learning. Like, I love Pokemon, and I love the evolutions especially, and I really was liking D&D, and I thought it'd be a fun little thing to try to have D&D characters inspired by them, and help me learn sort of a little bit just about character making. So, anyway, with this room, if you've watched the previous ones, you probably will have remembered me talking about how my Elgato had a moment where, like, it and Sims and something else, I can't remember what it was now, it was something that wasn't that big of a deal, but I noticed later on, just kaput. Like, I had to reinstall Sims. Luckily, all the save files and all that stuff was still fine. Nothing got damaged on those. So I just had to reinstall all, like, Sims 4 and all of the expansion packs over again, and just move my files into the new area where they went to. So, luckily, I was terrified that I lost even, like, my saves and stuff like that, and everything was just gonna be gone. Luckily, that did not happen. Was able to save, like, the worlds and all of that stuff, so everything's fine, good to go. And realized my Elgato also had some issues and completely disappeared, and I had to reinstall my Elgato stuff, and I lost 3 videos, 2 of those being parts of the speed build, so sadly, I lost some of the rooms. Myron's, I lost the end half of it, and you should be seeing now where I take it and I go and do, like, a little tour of the finished room, because I do want y'all to see the finished product, but obviously, like, I tried my best to find the videos and the footage of these rooms, and I could not find anything to remotely try to recover them. So this is the best I could do. I still wanted y'all to see them. So this is how we're doing it for these rooms. So it's going to make multiple bedrooms be shown off in this video. Also, I've sort of slowed down the footage, so sometimes it seems a little juddery because it's not going its normal speed, but I wanted to make sure that y'all could see the details in the rooms and stuff like that. Currently, you should be seeing Eva's room, which is my artificer that was loosely based off of Evie. So there's a lot of, like, tans and neutral tones in here. I also imagine she would have a lot of books about potions and, like, magic, cause so she's, like, interested in magic. She can't really necessarily do magic herself. But, you know, she potentially wouldn't mind trying to learn, but she is an artificer who mainly does potions, so, you know, she has stuff to sort of help with creation potions. She probably uses some, for all we know, she uses some of these plants to try to create some potions, but I also gave her, like, that old style, like, computer thing that's, like, for research and stuff, so I imagine she's researching stuff about potions and things like that on there. It's not a normal computer, but, you know. And she has another desk on the side there that she can go and write it if she needs to write things down and all sorts of things. But I thought her room definitely had, like, a nice, cozy feel to it. And I thought it was, like, it was adorable and cute, but also, like, not too much, not crazy. It was comfy, and that sort of feel to it. Now, we should be going on to Itzel's room. Itzel's room is very dark. So, Itzel's, like, with the locations of Eva's room, hers is more towards one of the upper levels. Obviously, she had windows, she had lighting. I think she would rather have a way to look outside. For Itzel, he's a vampire. So he doesn't want the light. So he's literally in the very bottom floor. The farthest floor down, that is where his room is located. So yeah, it's very dark. He hates and embraces his vampireness. At the same time, it's this weird thing, you know, he's got this more vampire decor and stuff like that. That's just what he's into. It's sort of fitting for him. But at the same time, he's sort of ashamed or disappointed that he is a vampire. So he hides his coffin that he has to sleep in, like, because he has to sleep in a coffin. He cannot really actually get a good sleep in normal beds, and he hates it, so he has those hidden back behind there. He does have a few, like, bottles here and there and little wine glasses. You know, part of him says he's not really that excited about where his life has went. Watching his village being attacked, and then the kids all being taken, and then being turned into a vampire once he becomes, like, a teenager into almost adulthood. So, you know, not the happiest, but, you know, he makes do with what he can, and, you know, he carries on. But now you should be seeing Forsythia's room. I am so sad that Forsythia's room is one of the ones that was lost, because I had so much fun creating this room, and her room is, like, on the highest level. I think hers is beside Serena's, I want to say, or at least somewhere close to that, because I wanted to be able for her to be in a room that could get, like, some really good sunlight. So obviously, like, I'm imagining, like, I'm pretending that these characters are picking out their room, so I'm trying to get into their mindset of what they would think. So she would definitely want sunlight. She's a plant person, and she's got all these plants in her room. Her floor is literally grass. So obviously, she's going to want sunlight. And I imagine that also even these, like, lights hanging from her ceiling have like, grow lights in them. They're not your normal, just everyday lights, because it's good for the plants. It's probably really good for her, too, as well. So there's literally plants everywhere, and I love this room. Never would I ever actually sleep in this room, for several reasons, but do I appreciate the beauty of this room? Yes. I love how this room turned out. I was looking so forward to creating her room and sharing her creation of her room on video that I'm very, very sad and very disappointed that hers was one of them that got lost. So yeah, this is all of the plant glory that is known as Forsythia's bedroom, and I just seen a little peek. She is beside Serena. I just seen Serena's room just briefly there, because I glitched into the wall. But yeah, even her dresser and stuff sort of has, like, a woodsy, foresty theme on it, because, you know, all about the nature is all that she has going on. And now we should be heading into Holt's room. So Holt, he lived in like a forest, so I didn't want to go with dark tones because he doesn't seem like someone that would want dark tones. I definitely think he would like the lighter muted tones, but I still wanted to give him some of that forest handmade vibes. Like, you know, he's got these candles that are just tied on strings with like some floral stuff hanging off of them. And he's also got a little squirrel buddy. The little squirrel buddy. But yeah, and then, like, a lot of his stuff is made out of wood and different things that I wanted it to feel homey but not dark, because I imagine this pure innocent soul not wanting a dark room. Like, if he stepped into Itzel's room, I feel like part of him would panic. But he's an adorable sweet bean. And I admit, when I first was going into his room, because this is one of the characters that, like, in the process of his creation of the D&D character itself and the sim, I was like, I like this character, but he's definitely not up towards the top. Like, I don't know why, but it's just, so, like, going into his room at first, I was like, I don't really know where I'm gonna go with this, but we're just gonna go. But as I started creating, I started actually having a lot of fun with it and, like, decorating it, and I think it turned out really well. And part of me was like, you know, he sort of has some plant features, and I just did Forsythia, so I hope, you know, but it, you know, it turned out really well, and there's definitely not any similarities in those rooms. So I was really, really happy with it. But now we should be getting back to the actual building process. So I lost the start of Valencia's room, but I kept the ending of it. So obviously there was no point in doing a tour, because the tour you would just see how it finished. So I just went with it as is. I lost the beginning half of it, but I have the ending half here. So here we go. But, sorry that, you know, the other rooms sort of had to just be run down sort of quickly with tours. But that is the only thing I could think of to do to make you still be able to see the rooms, and I still wanted them to put them in the order that they were supposed to be, because I have rolling dice to give an order to who gets what access to rooms first, so who gets dibsies first. So I did it in the order that they rolled, so that you could still see, like, you can almost see that the rooms are slowly getting smaller, or there's, like, less features in them, because, like, some of the rooms have, like, a nice area that could be easily made into a privacy area, and some rooms have a bathroom, and some are just a really nice size, some have good window space. Like, slowly that's going to, as it goes on, people are going to start having to pick the rooms with a smaller size, less features in it, so on and so forth. But yeah, so as time goes on, you'll see that, but I do hope you still liked some of those rooms, like Myron's and Eva's and Itzel's, Forsythia, and Halt's. I hope you still liked how the rooms turned out. Let me know so far which of the bedrooms is your favorite. We've seen quite a few of them now, especially since I had to do like 5 of them in the manner of doing the, like, little tour things. But there's actually 2 you'll see the finishing of Valencia's, and you'll see another bedroom. Because once I went to go edit this, I realized that if I just stopped at Valencia's room, because where I had to do the tours the way I did, and Valencia's room wasn't even the whole room, it was only the ending of the room, and Myron's was only the start of the room, it was going to have the video pretty short, actually, in a way. Like, shorter than I was necessarily intended to be. This video is a little bit longer than some of the D&D Mansion builds that I've done, but it wasn't much longer, so I decided to just stick with it and added another bedroom so that it wasn't, like, super, super short and we could get another bedroom going, because, one, I'm realizing as I'm going through this that this one's definitely, the mansion is going to take longer than the Creative Sims. So the Creative Sims are getting very close to the end. Like, there is not many characters left, versus I still have several characters' bedrooms to get up here and get them on videos and get them on the channel. Now, obviously, like I was stating, the characters' rooms are getting smaller and smaller as it goes down the list. The bigger rooms are being taken up, so it's gonna start shortening the pace of how long it takes me to decorate and design the rooms. But, so, you know, more and more bedrooms could start being on a video, but for the most part it seems to would be averaging of like 2-3 bedrooms per video for the average time that I want it to be. So obviously this video is a different story because of the way that I had to do those one rooms, but from the previous ones and what I think it would have been if the rooms haven't been done that way, it definitely probably would have been like just 2-3 bedrooms a video still right now. And I imagine as the rooms get smaller, it will start being like 3, 4, 4, 5, just depending. But until then, I'm like, it's, the cast series is gonna end soon. So, I am gonna mix in a few other random cast things. I am bringing back my adjective sims. So far, I've only got one request for 3 adjectives given to make a sim. But I'm going to do some more reposting. I've been meaning to do Tales of Berseria and Legend of Zelda cast since I finished those on the channel. I think I'm going to do the Zelda one first just because I really want to do the Zelda one right now for some reason. So I'm going to start mixing those series in on a few of the days. So like the double upload days where I have, because every other Monday I double upload the cast videos. Instead of doing 2 D&D ones, it will be a D&D and one of the other ones most likely. Every once in a while, it may be where I don't do any of the D&D ones, because I'm going to try to slow the D&D one down to match up with the house. At least a little bit. Like, it doesn't have to be exactly finishing on the same week, or even within the same 2 weeks, necessarily. But I want it to be a little bit closer than, I definitely want it to finish within the same month, for sure. But I would rather it get closer to that 2-week period, just so that they're sort of more closer together, and the mini-series is starting not too long after the ending of both. So that is what I am hoping for. So I'm going to slow down the cast just a little bit, because there's literally very few left. There's, I think we're now getting maybe to the single digits of characters left for the cast series, and then, like, definitely not in the single digits of how many people still need bedrooms. Done. Well, not necessarily done, but posted in a video. So yeah. But with Valencia's room here, you can see she's got sort of a privacy area for her bed, which I would really like myself. Like having your bed separated from the rest of your bedroom. Now, some bedrooms are tiny and you can't really do that. But at the same time, if you're someone who potentially at least has a desk in your room and like your dresser and stuff like that, it's sort of nice that your bed itself could be separated from all that, and you could just sort of separate yourself from the rest of your life for a bit, basically, is what I'm getting at. Sort of a nice relaxation section. And just sort of decompress sort of situation. But, you know, she's got little chocolates on her desk, because she has a significant other that's actually going to be in the household. So I definitely imagine maybe he gave those to her, and, like, she's definitely set it up so that, you know, he has places to sit if he comes and talks to her in her room, and things on such and such like that. I will allow access to him to her room and her to his room. And if anyone else somehow develops romantic relationships throughout the series, then I will allow access to such and such sims. For instance, at least I can bring up with Itzel and Vaya. They're not a thing technically, but in my head, and like when I talk about them, I actually mention how like they have a thing for each other. But like, there's, like, this weird, like, she's technically supposed to be a druid, so she's not really supposed to like things that are undead, and he's a vampire, but he didn't necessarily choose that life sort of situation, and, like, it's just sort of like a, they like each other, but they're not admitting it to themselves or to each other sort of situation, so I'm gonna give them a tiny bit of romance bar. But I feel like the romance bar needs to get to a certain point before I allow access to each other's bedroom. So if their romance bar naturally on its own gets a little bit higher, then I will unlock Itzel's room for Vaya and Vaya's room for Itzel. So with Valencia, it's Takashi. So he will have access to her room because they are actually like a thing. And then there also will be a couple that once dated and no longer dated in this household. So, you know, maybe they'll patch things up and, you know, they'll get access. Or maybe there's going to be some really random relationships that just come out of nowhere happen. So, as the little mini-series goes on, I'll do stuff like that and see what happens. Who knows, Itzel and Vaya may not end up having a connection even if I give them a little bit of romance. And who knows, somehow Valencia and Takashi might end up fighting or something for all we know. So we're just gonna see what this little reality show, in quotation marks I have, does. But I'm really intrigued with this. Like, I'm so ready for the little mini-series at this point. But technically, I'm actually not done with the build. I took a little break from building it since I had so much video piled up from where I didn't post regularly, or I didn't post for a while because of Christmas and things like that. So now that I'm back to recording, I have back to, like, posting regularly. I actually have went back and started building once again. Well, decorating technically. The build is mostly set in stone and done. I'm shifting around hallways and stuff a little bit here and there, but the build itself is pretty much done. It's just I'm doing some interior decorating, you know, dream home decorator, whatever. That's me. That's what I'm doing. So yeah. But anyway, the build is getting close to being done. Obviously, video-wise, there's still quite a bit to go. But as far as me decorating-wise, it's getting close to done. And especially since I'm back on it now, and it's something easy to do every once in a while I'm just watching streams or watching YouTube videos of other creators and stuff, and things like that. So you know, it's easy, and like, or while I'm waiting on clothes in the washer or dryer. The only thing I am concerned about, there is potentially a chance that, depending, like, we've been trying to look for a house. We've actually put an offer on one house. It fell through. Well, it didn't fall through. They took another offer. That's technically what happened. I don't know why. Anyway, so, in all the other houses, either someone put an offer in it before we even got to look at it, or they put an offer in the same day that we were looking at it, and we were like, or we just didn't want to put an offer on it. So, but, coming up sometime soonish, maybe, I will be moving, so I'm gonna have to do some I do pre-recording anyway, but I'm gonna have to do some, like, hardcore pre-recording, pre-editing, stuff like that, because a lot of times I edit closer to when the video's coming out, versus, sometimes recording, I get in a mood to where I just keep wanting to record, especially certain series, and I just keep going and going and going, because I don't want to stop playing. But that being said, I may have to do a whole lot of it soon at that point, and then, but it's still not a guarantee that I can get enough time to put videos up, so that might slow some things down, but I don't think it's going to. I think I'll be fine, because I could take some days off from work, hopefully. Technically, my vacation and my PTO just reset, so I'm gonna have to wait for it to build back up, and I don't know how fast that builds up, because I haven't been full-time at this job too long, so I don't know how long it takes it to build up when it starts over like this, so I'm hoping that I get some more soon, so that when we do get the house and we do start moving into it, I can take some PTO or vacation time. So, that's what I'm hoping. But anyway, we're in Taman's room. We've been in this room for a bit now, but, you know, I was talking about other things. But yeah, so, Taman. Taman, I was probably a little bit more lost on what to do for his room than I was Halt's. Or probably even Drax's, in all honesty. But once I started going, there's a point with some of these rooms that I don't know where to start, but I keep telling myself, okay, well, let's just keep going for a bit. Like, let's keep looking through the catalog, get some ideas, keep going, and then I get carried away with something, and then the room's done, and, like, it has stuff everywhere, and his room happens like that. Obviously, you might be able to tell that I could not decide on beds. I picked one bed out, and then I was like, no, you know, I really don't like that color. I don't like how that looks. That doesn't look like him at all. Like, I really wanted to go with, like, more of a wood tone feel, or, like, maybe some blacks mixed in there. He himself wears a lot of green in his snake tail, because he is technically a snake, and his snake tail is green, so he has a lot of greens on him, so that's why I'm trying to get some greens, but that pale green just really didn't make sense. So I was like, no, not with the pale green. Not gonna do it. So yeah, and I also did include some blues in there just to sort of break up the colors a bit. And I gave him more of a hard surface than a carpet, because I felt for him that maybe he would prefer a hard surface than on a carpet, since, you know, he does have a snake body, snake lower half. I didn't think about that for Valletta, but I do want to give him a space heater. I don't think I gave him a space heater, and I thought about it and gave it to Valletta after the fact. And I was thinking about, well, he would probably be the same way. Like, he's half snaky boy, so, you know, he probably is slightly more cold-blooded or gets colder easier. So, he probably also would like a space heater, so I'm probably going to give him a space heater. So, yeah, but I was definitely trying to give him some, like, I was trying to make it look sort of nice and, like, sort of well put together. I feel like, so the thing with Taman is, like, he's a big giant chicken. That has nothing to do with his decoration, but I gotta point that out there. But he used to he lived in, like, a forest, not forest, more like jungle setting, and he was, like, a prince, so, you know, he lived in royalty, and he had things done for him, and, like, had all this nice stuff, and now he's having to decorate his own room, but he still wants to have some nice things, so you know, he tries. I think ultimately in the end, the room turns out pretty well, and he's even got like a little swing thing in there. I mean, it's not actually a swing. It's a chair that's meant to look like it's hanging from the ceiling, and it's attached to the ceiling. It can be a swing, but in realistically on the Sims, it does not move. But you know, we'll pretend. But I felt like it was like a little nice touch. Maybe it's something calming for him because he is such a scaredy cat, and you know he is in the group with Drax and Amara, and I am trying to get them all on the same level, and so far Drax, Amara, and Taman are all in the same level. I feel like that gives comfort to Taman, because I'm pretty sure as soon as he walked in there, he was like, okay, I know these two already got rooms here. Where are their rooms at? I want to be near one or both of them. So, yeah, definitely he chose the same level. He might would have chose differently if he was just going on his own, like maybe trying to have a bathroom of his own, because I imagine he would like it, but at this point, his priority of making sure that he has the people that he trusts and know will protect him if he needs it are near him, and that was his priority, and that's what he did. So, he's on the same level as Drax and Amara, and I'm hoping to get Shamira and Lef up there, but I feel like Lef is one of the last people to choose a room. And Shamira, why did I say her name? She's pretty far down there too. So it really, really depends. And here's the thing, I do have two characters that are really close to each other, and the one that has a little bit more of a spunk to her and a little bit more of an attitude to her gets to pick her room first before the other one, and I imagine, like, I already know which rooms I'm gonna give them, most likely, because the one is coming up real soon, and she will sit at the door of the room closest to her and tell people, you cannot pick this room, and she would be intimidating, so I feel like they would be left alone. But in this case, I don't necessarily know if Drax or Amara would, like, purposely try to make people not pick a room near them. And I definitely know Taman wouldn't. Taman would not stand up to these people like, no, my friends Shamir and Lef need these rooms because they need to be close to me. He's not going to do that. He's not going to stand up to anyone. And I really don't think Drax would care. Amara would be the one who most likely would do it, but at the same time, I don't think Amara would try to necessarily cause controversy immediately. So I don't think that that's going to be a situation, and if it comes down to it, a character is picking. I'm literally trying to get into what I would imagine be the mindset of my characters if they were actually put into this realistically. Obviously, these are characters that I made up, so, you know, there's nothing realistic about this. But just if they were, how they would go about picking their room. So, and it's a first cut, like, you rolled, your number was higher than their number, so you get to pick first, so on and so forth. And if it comes down to it, the rooms near them get picked before Shamira and Lif get there. Oh well. So sad, you rolled too low. But yeah, you can see I'm trying to put some jungly vibes in here without trying to be too messy, because I imagine he wouldn't want the mess. Oh, I do give him like a little fire thing. Oh, I gave him some, I couldn't remember, it's been a while since I made his room. But I gave him some warmth, and he has some chairs sitting around it, so he can invite his friends over. There's his little swing. I think I changed my mind, but I put it back in later. But I took it away for now. But I do put it in. Yeah, there I go. I do actually keep it in, because I for some reason really felt that that'd be something he would like and be excited about. And also, more seating in his rooms means that he can keep his friends over there to protect him. And now I'm giving him, like, some, like, desk space and some storage space. I do imagine that even though, you know, he was kicked out, he would still have a lot of his, like, some of his belongings and stuff like that, or try to make it appear that he has some of these nice belongings. They may be knockoffs, who knows, but he wants the appearance that he still is wealthy, high society, when in reality his village disowned him and kicked him out and was like, no, you're not gonna be our king. That ain't happening. And he ran like a coward. Yep, that's Taman. So yeah, this area, I really don't know if he would totally use it so much. It's just more of an area to, like, make it look nice and make it look presentable, and, like, you know, he's got more going for him than just being a washed up prince who was a coward sort of situation. that is a big vibe of what's over here. I do give him like a little area to set drinks on and stuff like that, because I imagine, you know, he probably constantly had like someone serving him drinks all the time, so, you know, this is the closest he can get if he can keep drink materials near him in his room. So now we should be finishing up his room relatively soon. So you got quite a few bedrooms in this episode, even though a big chunk of them was because of an error with my Elgato system. So sort of sad, but sort of positive. You get to see more rooms, but you don't get to see them the way that they were intended to be seen originally. But, you know, hey, doing my best to show you how things are going, and I'm being honest with you. So, but anyway, I would definitely like to know how you think the build is coming along so far. At this point, we are solely on the bedroom, so any of the extra rooms, the living rooms, the kitchen, those rooms that are more like activity rooms, all that's done. Every once in a while, you might see me shifting a hallway here or there, or you might notice the hallway's been shifted. I've done some of it, the shifting of the hallways off camera, just because it's me trying to make sure there's enough room for these bedrooms and stuff like that, and little things here and there. But I hope you are liking the build so far. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, so you don't miss out on the rest of the build, as well as the D&D characters creation and other things here on the channel. Definitely always also remember the little notification bell. I forget to mention it a lot, but you can go ahead and hit it so that you know when my videos go live. And let me know if there's a character that you've seen on the Creative Sim that you're waiting to see their room, that you're excited to see it. Definitely would like to know that. But for now, the video is going to be ending here. I hopefully will see you in the next one. But until then,